In this presentation, we will enter deposits into our business and personal QuickBooks file related to the second month of operations from the bank statement, the month of February in QuickBooks. Here we are. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. On the home page, we currently have the open windows open. You can open the open windows by going to the view drop down and selecting the open windows list. We're now going to go to the bank register by selecting the banking drop down and going down to the use register and then selecting the checking account register, the account we will be working on. We have been entering data for the first month of operations, January. Now we're going to be moving on to February, entering this data directly from the bank statement. Here is our mock bank statement. The mock statement will have the ending balance for January being the beginning balance for the month of February. We'll have the additions, we'll have the subtractions, we'll have the ending balance for the February, and it is going to be 2020, so there's actually 29 days apparently in 2020 in February, but that'll be okay. And then we have the detail, the deposits on the left, giving us the total deposits and the detail of the withdrawals on the right, or the outflows. These are going to be, we're considering them to be electronic payments. If they were checks, we would have check numbers as well. The goal here being that whether they be electronic checks or checks we write, then we'll have some kind of data from the bank on the bank statement, including hopefully the vendor and date. That's what we're going to use to enter into the system. We are here concentrating on the deposit side of things. So we have both the business and personal information over here on the deposit side of things. And we're going to be entering this information into our one QuickBooks file and then using that QuickBooks file and the classes feature to break out between business and personal on the profit and loss or income statement. So we've entered the first month, so this should be easier for the second month, although the deposits don't track the recording as easily as the outflows. In other words, when we enter in a payment, the vendor typically will generate the account that we want to go to. However, on the deposit side, it doesn't memorize the transaction quite as easily. But that's not a problem for us typically, because we typically don't have a lot of different places where we receive deposits from. And therefore, the deposits usually aren't a big problem. We know where we're getting money from. When we spend money, we have a bunch of different categories. All right, so let's go back to this. We're going to enter that W-2 income first, and the W-2 income, of course, being our personal income. That's being something from our job as opposed to the green items, which we're going to say that was deposits from our business. And we'll separate those two out. So also note that we're going to do a little bit different of a method here. I'm going to go up to this deposit that we made in January for the W-2 income on January 5th. And you'll note that when we entered this, we applied classes. We did so by entering in the check register using the splits item and then the classes over here. That works well, but it also takes a little bit of time to use the splits. What we're going to do this time is not assign a class as we enter the data and just enter it using the accounts, and we'll just enter it based on the accounts we used last time. And then we'll go to the reports, the profit and loss by class, and reclassify it. And it might actually be faster this way. So you can compare this to the prior month, see which method works best for us. What we're going to do is not assign the class as we enter here, then run a report, reports, company and financial, profit and loss by class. And we're going to run this. I'm just going to make this for January 01/01/2020. Let's just put it 01/31/20. And what we will do is everything that will be unclassified will have something here called unclassified. And then we'll just go into it from this statement and assign them to the class. And the thing that will be beneficial on that will be easy to do because we'll just be in the mindset of either business or personal by, because we already have it broken out here. This is all business and everything under here is personal. So we'll just go in here afterwards and go into each item and assign the new column, which will be unclassified, to either personal or business based on the accounts. And that's how we'll set this up. We're going to be here on the first item, and that happened on February 5th, 0205 20, the year we're working on. I did that again with the 0502 05 2020. We're going to call it an E, or let's say a DEP for deposit, and it's going to be the W-2 income. So I'm just going to type in W-2 and I'll see the customer. I put it in as the W-2 here. So we're going to select that. It is a customer because we're saying that's where we got money from. And so we'll select that item. And you'll note it doesn't create the account for us here as it will when we do that for the vendors. But that's okay because, again, there's not too many types of deposits that we're getting money from. So 3,000, make sure we're on the deposit side. And then if we select the drop down, if we can't remember where the deposit is, we can go up to the income areas and there shouldn't be too many income type accounts. We then grouped our personal deposits under the Z income. And so they're under here, and then we want this W-2 income. That looks like the one we want now. So we'll select that and enter. Next item, if we go back to our profit and loss, I'm going to highlight this saying that we have then completed it. This is going to be the business income represented by the 4,100 in green. We don't know who the customer is. We're assuming any business deposits we got are just going to be income recorded on a cash basis in our system as income. So we'll go back to our file. We're going to say this happened on 2/8/28. So, I went to 9. And then we're going to say this is a DEP deposit. We don't know the customer because it might be multiple customers, but we know it's from the business. So we're going to be on the deposit side, 4100. Note that I'm tabbing through as I go to the next cell, tab. And then we're going to select the drop down. Back up to the income accounts, we want the business account here, which is called sales. That's what QuickBooks set us up when we selected the chart of accounts. That's the one. We're going to say enter. That's the one. Go back to our account and back to our bank statement, that is, bank statement. Highlight that one. It's been completed. Now we have Amazon book royalties, our major income source. That's going to be on the personal side. We're going to remember what we're saying here is that the business that we have isn't our book royalties. We just do that on the side here. But we have our W-2 income, we have our Amazon income, and then our business where we sell guitars and do guitar lessons, apparently. So we then are going to record this not on the business side, but as another form of on the personal income. Therefore, we'll go back over here, and we're going to enter this data on the 15th. And we're going to call this a deposit. Now you might be saying, hey, that royalties are something you're going to have to report, and maybe it would need to be reported as taxes, as some type of income, but we're keeping it separate from the type of income we're getting from basically our guitar business. And it might be the case that we want another class if we needed to track royalties and expenses related to them. We may need another type of business class in order to track that information. However, on the other hand, if they're just royalties that we had made in the past and we're not contributing any expenses, they're completely passive income at this time, there's not really any expenses we need to track to match up to it, and all we really need to do is track those royalties on a separate area for tax preparation purposes, and possibly we'll probably get a 1099 or some form of statement, tax statement at the end of the year telling us what our income is for it. So in any case, for our purposes here, we're going to be putting it on the debit, on the deposit, 9537. And we're going to check our income, see what we have, go back up here, see what we call the royalty income, Amazon book royalties. That looks like the one. And so note also when you do that, it puts the whole thing here. So it's got the parent account and then the sub account. So don't let that throw you off. This is the sub account under that parent account. And then enter. And we'll go back over here. The sub account and the master and the parent, the child account. So however you want to name it. We're going to highlight that. That one's been completed. These two are going to be business-related incomes to our guitar business or our guitar selling and lessons business. So we'll enter those on the business side. So we're going to go back to our QuickBooks. This happened on the 16th. So we're going to enter a DEP, business. So we don't have a customer, a specific customer. This could be multiple customers. 5150 on the deposit side. It's going to be business income. Selecting the drop down, scrolling up, we see income accounts. We're going to select the sales for the business item. Then we'll do the same thing for the next one. We're going to say that this is also business income. So I'm going to highlight this. And so this is on the 25th, 4,800. So back to QuickBooks. This is on the 25th. So scrolling up to the 25th, we're going to say this is a deposit. And we're going to be on the deposit side, 4800. And this will be sales. So we're going to select the drop up. We're going to go up to sales. That's the one. And enter. All right, then we have one more. So I'm going to highlight this one. That one has been completed. We're looking for the interest income. So interest income will be the last one on the 28th. Back to QuickBooks, up to the 28th. We're going to say this is a deposit. $4 on the deposit side. And we're going to call it interest income. So if I select the drop up, we've got interest income. And I put that under the personal. So personal interest income, tab, enter, enter. Now note what we haven't done, I didn't assign any classes here, and it might be faster this way to actually then go to the report by class, go to all the unclassified areas, and then assign the class, because otherwise we have to use the splits item. So I'm going to do that method and see if it's any faster than what we did in the prior month, entering the classes typically as we go. So I'm going to go to the reports up top, company and financial. We want to take a look at the profit and loss by class, profit and loss by class, and then change the dates. And I'm going to make this just for the month of February, 02/01/20 to 02/29/20, and tab. So that's February 1st to February 29th. Notice it's all in unclassified. We have two classes set up now, business and professional. So what I'd like to do is go to everything that's unclassified, reclassify it to either business and professional, and then this unclassified area should go away. We could do this fairly quickly from here because all the input screens will have the business or professional screen for us, and we've already subcategorized, so we know that everything under here is personal and this one is business. So as we go in here, we already know exactly what's business and personal, have it, in our mind. And we can just go, okay, this one's going to be, everything in here is going to be business. So I'm going to go into here, double click on it, deposit, class, business. So if I select the drop down, business or professional, business, save and close. Yes, yes. And I'm going to double click on the next one, go into the class, type in a B, business, save and close. Yes, yes. Next item, double click on it. Class, type in a B, business, and then save and close. Yes, yes. And then close that out. And now everything's been allocated to the business and the personal. Now I know all items under here are going to be personal because they're all in that sub account for personal. So all I need to do is go into each one of these and just assign the personal class. I'll just do the same thing. Double click on it. Double click, class, personal, P for personal, and save and close. Yes, yes. And then close this back out. Next item, that $4. So now that got assigned to the personal side. 4, that's going to be something that should be over here. So I'll double click on it. Double click, P for personal in the class item. Save and close. Yes, yes. Close. And we'll do the same for the W2. It should be personal. Double click on it. Double click. Personal P. Save and close. Save and close. And then now we've allocated them all out. So that might actually be faster to actually go to this report and then reclassify rather than classify within the check register. If you do it within the check register, I'm going back, you just got to make sure that you hit the splits item all the time, which takes a little bit more time than maybe even just going back to the profit and loss, especially if the profit and loss is already pre-categorized for us. so that we can just go in there and check them off. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.